Hi, Jen here from myroadtoindependence.com. I'm coming to you once again to talk to you about anxiety. I just posted a video of helpful tips to deal with symptoms of anxiety and how to overcome that. And now I'm going to tell you the things that you could be doing to make your anxiety worse. So the bad things that you might do to actually make your symptoms worse than they already are. Number 1, alcohol, booze, whatever you want to call it. Stop. If you drink enough of that, it's a depressant. What it does is it makes you worse than you already are. So although you might feel like you're able to relax finally and you're not so anxious anymore, when that alcohol wears off and the withdrawal symptoms start, your anxiety is going to be twice as bad. Believe me, I went through this. And I know now that if I just have 1 or 2 drinks, I might be okay. But to go out and party all night, you're going to be a mess, a hot mess. So stay away. 2, caffeine. Does the same thing. It's actually worse, I think, than booze. Because what it does is it speeds up your heart rate, and all of a sudden you get jittery, and then you're freaking out, and then your anxiety gets worse because your body feels worse, and the physical symptoms of anxiety go on overload. So stop with the caffeine. You don't need soda. Drink some water. Drink some green tea that's decaffeinated. It'll make you feel a lot better, I promise. Promise. Along the same lines, sugar. I am awful at this one, but sugar can have the same sort of effects as booze and caffeine. It makes your body feel awful, and your anxiety symptoms will increase. You will feel physically off. You might feel very, very energetic at first and have that sugar rush, and then bam, the crash. And then you're tired, and then you're lethargic, and then you're depressed. So staying away from sugar is a good thing. I'm trying to learn, I promise. It's just not easy. So I've got to deal with that one too. Smoking. I used to be a smoker, but I quit that a couple years ago. It was awful. Dirty, dirty habit. I hate it now. I hated it before. I don't know what got me into that, but it doesn't calm you down. It doesn't make you feel better. It's just a big old mind trick. What actually ends up happening is you're getting increased heart rate, and it's got the same effects as caffeine. You start getting jittery, and it makes you feel more anxious, and it makes you feel bad, and it's unhealthy. So just stop it. Don't do it anymore. Negative thinking. It's awful. Those habits are awful. They really, really have a damper on your mindset, and they really can affect your anxiety. For example, irrational thoughts and assumptions. No good. My best example would be your boyfriend wants to go out with his friends tonight, and all of a sudden you start feeling anxious, and you're like, why am I feeling so anxious right now? Pay attention to how you're thinking. Are you thinking, oh, he's just going out because he doesn't want to be around me, and he's going to meet a new girl, and he doesn't really love me, or he would stay, he wouldn't go out with his friends? Or if you're thinking these things, first of all, you're rational, and you're making assumptions. And secondly, it's only going to make your anxiety worse. So instead, think, hey, I get a break from him tonight. I get to do my own thing. I'll paint my nails. I'll do whatever I want. I can sing in our house and just walk around and do whatever I want. I can go out with my friends if I want. I can just relax, take a nice bubble bath. You replace those negative thoughts with positive ones. And, maybe your partner or somebody could help you determine if you're being a little silly and maybe having those irrational thoughts. However, just keep that negative thinking out of your mind in general. I'm not just talking about relationships, I'm talking about in general. So That could mean about a job. It could mean about just being negative in general. It just puts you right into depression mode. So sure, it'll start off with anxiety, and the next thing you know, you're negative Nancy and you're depressed. Nobody wants to do that. So try your hardest to keep positive. Holding your emotions in is not good. It's not the way to go. Before, in my last video, I told you to make sure you have somebody to talk to, or you have some kind of a creative outlet. This is very important, because if you hold those emotions in, what's going to happen in the long run is you're going to have a meltdown, a panic attack, and it's going to be 10 times as bad as if you would just deal with things as they come and let your emotions run through that. Now, do I want you to be a hot mess? No, because that's how I do it. A lot of times that's unfortunately, the bad habit that I've gotten into is I let it all out, but I let it all out ugly. You gotta control yourself, but still make sure you get those emotions out when need be. The lack of any of the things that I said in my last video, exercise, sleep, religious beliefs in yourself, any of the things that I talked about before, make sure you do those, because if you don't, you're only hurting yourself and giving your anxiety more fuel. So I hope this one's been helpful for you as well. These are just things you want to avoid and want to not do, because they'll only make your anxiety worse. I promise. I've been there a million times. That's how I know that these things are awful. Make sure that you still check out other resources, because there are other things that you probably should avoid if you want to have a handle on your anxiety. But these are just the things that I've started to try to weed out of my life and avoid personally, so that I can improve my anxiety and the symptoms. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.